Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our dais for today. I'd like to introduce our dais, and if we go to my immediate left, we have Fire Commissioner Nick Scarpetta, Howard Milstein, Chairman of the Board of the New York Blood Center, Salvatore Cassano, Chief of Department, Dr. Robert Jones, the President of the New York Blood Center, Frank Carruthers, First Deputy Commissioner, Mary McLaughlin, Director of the Bureau of Health Services for Fire Department, and I'm Rolf Kavanetsky from the New York Blood Center. Please be seated. Following this piece of the agenda is never an easy task, which is why we save our cleanup hitter for number 4, and we also make sure that now we're going to be paying tribute, really, to the 100 people who are on the registry already here, and on the plaque, and the 18 new members that are going to be put on today. So with that, I'd like to introduce co-chair of the Immigrant Savings Bank, the CEO there. But this resume, you want to Google Howard, you see a lot. He does a lot of great things, and trying to select from that what are the 3 or 4 I'd like to mention became impossible. So I'm just giving him his title for this morning, but I'd like to now ask you to join me in welcoming Howard Milstein to lead the induction ceremony of the 18 new members.
Thank you, Rolf. Well, quite a moment. I guess this is very much the Mark and Laura show today, and as it should be. And the love that comes out of their families and the love of giving and a life that's saved is something that every person here, I'm sure, is thrilled about. And I think Rolf's point that this is typical of what goes on through the bone marrow program, as run particularly here through the New York City Fire Department, gives you a sense of the importance of what's happening here today. I want to salute Nick Scarpetta, our fire commissioner. I have known Nick for decades. It's flown by, and I've gathered the insight over the years to take advice from Nick rather than give him advice. And I appreciate Nick's advice, and it's guided me to this point where I am here today. I also want to say that the New York Blood Center is probably familiar to many of you. What you may not know is that we do serve 20 million people in the New York metropolitan area through our 200 area hospitals, and we supply virtually all the blood. So in addition to bone marrow and working with the National Bone Marrow Program, our main function every day is getting blood donations from all of you, and this is another area where the fire department has been a leader. It's under Nick's leadership that he made it no small coincidence that we do get 100% participation from the probies every year, and that kind of record is hard to match. There is no other institution that does as much as the New York City Fire Department towards our blood and bone marrow efforts. So we're here with the people we see every year and some new young people. The unique thing about our New York Blood Center, which is of course a community resource, a community charity, is that we of course appreciate donations, financial donations, but we're one of the few places where a person, irrespective of the size of his wallet, can make a life-saving donation, and that is blood. So when you donate, you're saving a life, and it doesn't depend on the size of your wallet, it depends on the size of your heart. Of course, there are no people in New York City with bigger hearts than the men and women of the New York City Fire Department, and so we're here to salute them today. We are inducting today more members than at any prior ceremony, but we're celebrating the milestone of passing through 100 as well. So this is the great pleasure for me as a chairman of the Blood Center and a native New Yorker, to celebrate the importance of these two great institutions, but more importantly, what we can accomplish for the community. And I want to underline that when people receive this gift of life, whether it's a transfusion or a bone marrow transplant, that this, of course, is wonderful to receive and to feel better, do better, and possibly live longer. But it's also a great thing for the people who give, because it brings the community closer together and gives the opportunity of giving and service and basically expressing love of your fellow man. All who voluntarily gave of themselves are strangers to the ones who receive their gifts of life. In many religions, that's the highest form of giving. So on behalf of the Blood Center, I thank each and every one of you for your commitment to the patients we serve. With the record 18 marrow donors we're adding this year, there are now 116 firefighters on the honor roll. Each one has gone above and beyond the call of duty, and all deserve our thanks. On behalf of all the patients we serve and their families, the New York Blood Center is proud to induct this year's new members to the Honor Roll of Life. I now ask my colleague, the New York Blood Center President and CEO, Bob Jones, and my friend, Fire Commissioner Nick Scapetta, to join me to unveil the Honor Roll of Life. I would also like to ask Mary McLaughlin to read aloud the names of the firefighters we are adding this year.
That guy, move that guy out.
You decided. Very well. Yes. The first one to get the two of you.
I think we're supposed to.
Hey. Thank you, Howard. Appreciate your help.
Very, very. How are you? Good. Very good to see. Happy New Year too.
Howard, thank you very much.
Can I get the CD over from the reception over to Howard?